So what's your name?
Just the doctor.
All right, then. I'm called the nurse.
There is something already connecting us.
I'm not one of your adventures.
Doctor, we have a problem. If you could describe every female New Who companion in one word, which word would you choose? For me, that word would be feisty.
What are you doing?
Saving your life. Okay with that, are you?
Did you just hiss at me? Was that a hiss? You're not mating with me, sunshine.
Now here's an easier question. What do these two companions have in common? They're both tied to a mystery box. In case you missed it, the Season 2 trailer just introduced us to new companion Belinda Chandra. From this trailer, we learn two things. There's a mystery surrounding Belinda, and Belinda is feisty. Obviously, I can't be sure about either of these statements, but the trailer does drop strong hints.
Out of me. Nice.
So, Doctor Who's marketing team must think that a mysterious, feisty companion will hook viewers. Why then am I not hooked? In this video, I'll show you why New Who companions are too formulaic. I'll also explain why making them mysterious won't solve the problem. Let's get technical. What are companions for?
Close the door, please. Barbara!
In 1963, we followed Barbara Wright through a junkyard to a police box. The doors opened and we watched through Barbara's eyes as the wonders of the universe unfolded around her. In 2005, we followed Rose Tyler. In a universe of anywhere and anywhen, the companion is our anchor. They ask our questions and feel what we feel.
I'm tired of being an outsider, Doctor.
Through them, we come to know the Doctor.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Like Sherlock Holmes, the Doctor is an unknown quantity. His perspective is hard to relate to and even harder to write.
Oh, well, you're a beautiful woman, probably.
The companion is our Dr. Watson. They bridge the gap between fiction and reality. Why else do we need a companion? Well, a good story can't happen without character growth, and the Doctor's character stays relatively the same. The companion, on the other hand, can grow. When they leave the TARDIS, they're not the same person who first walked in. This Holmes-Watson style relationship hasn't changed much since the 1960s. But something else has changed, and that's politics. So, how are New Who companions different to Classic Who? In Classic Who, companions were a mixed bunch. Everyone came from different planets and different times. However, they had one thing in common. Classic Who companions were seen as damsels. By the time the show ended, they had a reputation for looking pretty, screaming, and being rescued. To the public, these companions weren't fully formed people anymore. Now, for the record, I don't agree with this perspective. I've said before how these women were written is different from how the narrative treated them.
Now look, young lady, make yourself useful. This young fellow looks as though he needs some refreshment, and I know that Susan and I do too.
Hang on a minute.
Nonetheless, this is how people remembered the companions after Classic Who was cancelled. To appeal to a modern audience, New Who had to do things differently. The companions needed to change.
You were useless in there. You'd be dead if it wasn't for me.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
New Who companions are empowered. These women wear practical clothes, scream less, and even save the Doctor's life. Although, technically, the Classic Who companions already did this. To stop them becoming damsels, modern companions are written to a template. Russell T Davies calls it the modern-day woman template.
So the companion, we've created many companions in our days, and I say basic template because I love that modern day Woman.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like a woman.
In real life, the phrase modern day woman could mean anything. In New Who, it means assertive.
Ladies, you pay for a cracked window, you pay for a scratched door, and we all agree that parking round here is a nightmare. But that grown-ups really shouldn't need to call the police to sort it out for them.
Modern companions show their strength by being feisty. And based on the trailer, Belinda Chandra seems to come from the same template.
I am not one of your adventures.
Now, look, this doesn't mean that all companions are identical. Obviously, each one has their own different personality, and some are feistier than others. However, the way these women handle conflict is very similar. To prove my point, let me show you some lines from each companion. See how difficult it is to tell who said what? While they are all different, when they fight, the New Who companions fight with one voice.
We go and kick its ass!
On the one hand, I love this. This representation is great for women. And the banter between the Doctor and the companions is more fun. Also, it just makes sense for people like Donna to join the TARDIS because they seem tough enough to handle danger. Most importantly, these modern women can challenge the Doctor.
Tell me what you knew, Doctor, else I'll smack you so hard you regenerate.
The Doctor, like Sherlock, can be arrogant. With someone like Bill Potts to bring him down a peg or two, it creates drama, and it gives the companion another reason to exist. But making the companions sound empowered still doesn't fix Classic Who's problem. The fact is, guys, the Doctor is still the hero. So these companions still need him to answer their questions and save their lives.
Can you get me out?
Amy, try and stay calm.
Though they seem less helpless, New Who companions are doing the same thing that the classic ones did. They're just doing it with a little more panache.
Hold on! I am!
To truly have gender equality on this show, you need to change more than just the dialogue. The whole Doctor companion lineup would have to change. We would need more female doctors, more male companions, more non-binary people, and while we're at it, a female showrunner wouldn't hurt either. Everyone needs a chance to be the rescuer and the rescuee. Instead, by making every companion feisty to some degree, we only get one version of the modern woman. And this is a problem not just for women, but for everyone. Because while the female companions are always bold and assertive, the men are stuck being comic relief. And frankly, if I were a man and all the human men on screen were doing this,
Don't make me go squeaky-voiced.
or this,
There are soldiers all over my house, and I'm in my pants.
or this, I wouldn't be singing from the rooftops. But this is not just about politics. It's about storytelling. After 2 decades, the companion template is getting boring. New Who now has the same problem as Classic Who. Viewers have a preconceived idea of who the companion is. While individually, yes, each companion does have good points, as a collective, they've stopped being interesting. This is one area where I think Classic Who actually outperforms New Who. While they were all strong, the classic companions were strong in different ways. Look at Nyssa and Tegan from the 1980s. Nyssa is a teenager from a peace-loving planet called Traken. Tegan is an Australian air stewardess in her mid-20s. Let's watch them in action.
No, Nyssa.
Do not enter the grove.
But
It's dangerous.
who says so?
Seron, and your father.
But my father... Yes, I see.
Adric, I'm warning you! Get out of my way!
No!
At first glance, Nyssa seems passive. When told not to do something, she listens. However, Nyssa still has agency. She quietly realizes what's happening, and when the bad guys aren't watching, she rescues the Doctor.
Which way, Nyssa? This way or that?
Follow me, Doctor.
Right.
Nyssa is driven by logic and compassion, and this makes sense because she's a scientist and she comes from this enlightened world where people talk rather than fight. Tegan, on the other end of the spectrum, comes from a patriarchal society and has a loud, opinionated family. she's used to making herself heard by shouting. Both these women are important for different reasons. Nissa is good in a crisis and keeps everyone, including the doctor, calm and focused.
Try and think what the doctor would do if he were here.
Got it!
Tegan challenges the doctor. She makes sure that everyone on the TARDIS is treated fairly.
Please, will you stop thinking of yourself?
I'm not thinking of myself. We've got to get to Earth and warn them.
Watching these characters interact is fascinating because they handle conflict very differently. And this brings me to another point: conflict. Okay, so I've seen comments that Belinda is more interesting than Ruby Sunday because she has conflict with the Doctor. Now, sure, that is interesting, but a companion fighting with the Doctor isn't enough to make them interesting. The companion needs to jump off the page.
Bones of the hand, distal row, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, hammock, then the metacarpal bones extending in 3 distinct phalanges, proximal, middle, distal.
Tegan and Nissa work so well because their conflicts feel organic. They're so well written, we can predict exactly how they'll behave in any scenario. Ruby doesn't work because we don't understand what drives her. For example, why does she love music? Why does she want to find out about her birth mother? Ruby can't clash with the Doctor because we don't know enough about her values to know what she would clash with him on. To make Doctor Who really interesting, the main characters need chemistry.
Come on, let's go, Joanne. Come on, Victoria.
Different Doctors need different companions. The 10th Doctor is arrogant, so he needs Donna Noble to teach him humility. But not every Doctor needs the same kind of companion.
Ace, one of these days we're going to have a nice long talk about acceptable safety standards.
And actually, when a Doctor does get a new companion, it changes how we see them. Look at the 3rd Doctor. He first travels with a scientist called Liz Shaw, who he treats like a colleague. Then he meets Jo, who failed her science exams, and his behaviour totally changes.
You're right, Joe. There is magic in the world after all.
We see a different side of him. I don't think, honestly, that Ncuti's Doctor needs another Donna Noble. I think he'd do better with a Jo Grant. 15 is already humble. I'd rather see him paired with an insecure companion, someone 15 can help to feel confident.
Everyone who knows you is so lucky. I bet you they tell you that all the time.
Just the once, actually.
This modern-day woman template is holding Doctor Who back, not just politically, but in terms of telling an interesting story. And I think the showrunners have noticed. So, what are they actually doing to fix this? In 2012, we were introduced to a new kind of companion, the mystery box companion.
I don't know where I am. It's like I'm breaking into a million pieces and there's only one thing I remember. I have to save the Doctor.
Her name was Clara Oswald, the impossible girl. Last year, we met another one.
Patient identified. Ruby Sunday. Next of kin. Next of kin.
Who is the next of kin?
Her origin story got fans so excited, they were like a dog with a bone. So why write a character this way? And why is it happening now when it never happened before? The short answer is, a mystery companion makes the companion exciting again. If you don't know who they are, you don't know if you can trust them. Suddenly, there's this element of danger.
Impossible girl. Mystery wrapped in an enigma squeezed into a skirt that's just a little bit too tight.
In Belinda's case, there's also a logistical reason. We need to explain why Belinda looks like Mundy Flynn from Boom, so why not invent a timey-wimey explanation? Sadly though, I still think the mystery box companion is doomed to fail. You remember I said that the companion is the audience anchor? Well, when the companion is supposed to be a mystery, we can't truly know them as a person. And this means it's harder to bond with them. Ruby and Clara did have some personality in their introductory seasons, but to me at least, neither one felt three-dimensional. Now, you might say it should be possible for a writer like Russell T Davies or Stephen Moffat to write a mystery companion who is also compelling. And in the right circumstances, yes, I would agree. But it's hard to write a mystery box companion in an 8-episode season, especially when we already have 3 main characters and multiple mysteries to solve. But there's a bigger problem. Remember, good stories need good character growth. And frankly, a mystery box companion cannot grow. Think about Ruby and Clara. The most interesting thing about them is not who they are now, it's who they'll turn out to be later. Their growth is paused until the end of the season. It's almost like you're inviting your audience not to care about the companion until the very end of the story. Ruby remains the same until the end of season 1, when she meets her birth mum.
So we've got to go, and... I'm sorry.
Clara barely changes until the Series 7 finale, when she sacrifices herself for the Doctor. And even then, Clara never has time to process what happened to her. After Series 7, there's a multi-Doctor story, then a regeneration. And by this point, the audience was unimpressed with Clara, and later attempts to characterise her just felt jarring.
Hang on. Egomaniac, needy game player.
This could be a trap.
That was me.
Never mind that.
Yes, I am minding that.
The root of this problem is this word here, mystery box. With a normal mystery, information is drip-fed to you throughout the story. The characters change as they learn more about their situation, bit by bit.
I've always assumed that love is a dangerous disadvantage. Thank you for the final proof.
In a mystery box, though, information doesn't come until the end of the story. The narrative constantly reminds us about the mystery without solving it. If your mystery box is a word or an object, this works fine. If your mystery box is a character, though, we have a problem, because that character is being held in stasis, waiting for the box to open. But Lingua, what about River? Isn't she a mystery box character?
Can I trust you, River Song?
If you like. But where's the fun in that?
Well, yes. But the difference is River is not the main companion. The main companion for Series 5 and 6 is Amy, and Amy does grow as a person, so she can be the touchstone that the audience needs. However, when we have Ruby and 15, or Clara and 11, we're left with 2 characters who can't really change that much. And when characters don't change, we don't have a story. There are thousands of ways to be a modern woman. Surely then, there should be more than one way for modern women to exist in Doctor Who. Making the companion a mystery box is not the answer. It's time to throw this modern-day woman template into the void.
We send that thing back into hell.
I don't know what Belinda Chandra or Season 2 has in store, and I hope that I'm wrong with all of my worries that I've listed here. But I do know this. Putting your companion in a box and labelling them mysterious won't solve anything. Thanks for watching Lingua Anomaly. Don't forget that overthinking is a superpower, and there is beauty in the way that you think. By making companion after companion this feisty cliche, no, it's not really a cliche, I'll say that again. Her companion fighting with the Doctor isn't enough to make... Bleh. Although I know they did work for some people and I respect that. I just bit my tongue, that really hurt. Brain not working.